Medicine, music, and technology seems to have a lot in common. The next speaker is a medical doctor, software engineer, an entrepreneur, and plays violoncello. He promotes the responsibilities, challenges, and opportunities of data-driven medicine and digital health. Please give your warm welcome to Dr. Johannes Jacubeit.
Thank you for sharing this awesome lifetime together here in Sofia at Webit.Festival 2016. Mobile technology and our world is mobile, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next 15 minutes. Do you have a smartphone? Do you have a smartphone? Is anybody here who is not having a smartphone? Okay. Oh, wow. One. So everyone else knows what I'm going to talk about except you. You might know as well. Our world is mobile enabled, and I'm from the city of Hamburg, Germany, and when I need a mobility solution, when I need a car, I get out my smartphone and I take a look at a map and I open a car which is standing there with my smartphone. So I start to interact with objects in my surrounding through my smartphone. Same works with bicycles. Many places, this is how mobility works now. If I need the best lunch place around me, what do? I pull out my smartphone and I take a look at the restaurants around me, and then my smartphone is guiding me there. Some of you might have flown here, and you might know this app where you show your ticket. So again, you interact with your smartphone, with your surrounding. If we take a look at train tickets and the digital transformation of train tickets. A couple of years ago, you went to an officer, you bought a ticket from an officer. Next step was you went to a machine and you bought a ticket from a machine. What do you do now? While walking towards the train station, you buy your ticket on your smartphone and then you show it. Again, you interact with your surrounding. In some countries, we start to pay with our smartphone. We use a gesture in conjunction with our thumb to authorize digital interaction and data transfer. We're all humans here, all patients, and unfortunately, we get a little bit sick in our lives. Maybe some of you have a sport injury or major illnesses. And what should we do, or what everybody thinks we do, is we go to a doctor and ask for advice. But what really is happening is we Google. We Google our symptoms. We try to acquire information about our health. Now, if you encounter a symptom that you have never had before, you try to get as much information as possible. And the result is you don't really know what you have, and you're still lost with loads of information. Now, is this what this magical term digital health is all about? If we talk about digital health, and it's a major disruption now, it comes from two sides. From us, patients, consumer health ecosystem, smartphone-driven ecosystem. We have more and more opportunities to create and gather data about us. And the other side, the doctor's side, they use technology, high tech. Let me give you some examples. You've heard about wearables today. Some people wear watches, other wearables. You use apps to track your running habits or maybe your diabetes. Some people step on scales every day and the data is dumped directly into the smartphone. Some people measure their blood pressure or heart rate. We use cloud platforms to store our data, some of them dedicated, some of them not dedicated. And some of us still have medical files on paper, CDs with MRIs. And from the doctor's side, the doctor uses technology. We have medical devices for a long time. We use IT. Think about the intensive care unit There's loads of technology, loads of cable. It's amazing technology. We use imaging, and I'm not talking about the old X-ray. I'm talking about imaging that can image glucoses inside of the brain while you do something. And we use cloud platforms as well. And to store and aggregate our data, we use electronic health records to get an overview over the patient. The question remains, what is the core action to connect those two ecosystems? To substitute doctors by our smartphones will not be possible in the near future. I'm pretty sure of it. But we as patients and we as consumers, why don't we use the potential of the smartphone ecosystem and the doctor's ecosystem? So instead of gathering data by Googling and reading, we should hand over our data to the doctor so the doctor can work. Now, if more and more data is flooding towards doctors, that is pretty serious. We are already overwhelmed by data. So algorithms will need to prioritize, strip the data, and visualize the data so that recommendations can be based on data. But what's happening here is really, really dramatic. This was the core of the profession of a doctor. The doctor acquired data, the doctor stripped data, prioritized data, and then decided together with the patient what to do. And now this is shifting towards companies, software developers, investors, entrepreneurs. That is a dramatic shift. Soon, we will sit with a doctor together and decide based on validated data. This is the user experience of a doctor visit in Germany. You come to your doctor, your hospital, and then you fill out forms, and then your doctor asks you a question, which medication did you take last year? And typically we don't provide answers here. Some patients have information on paper. They typically don't bring it. So it's a mess. Going back to what I've talked about earlier, mobile-enabled world, to interact with our smartphones all the time, having access to data all the time. Why doesn't medicine work like this? Medicine needs to be mobile-enabled. And that's what we do. We have an IoT device for the medical field. It's called LifeUp. It enables any computer, plug and play, to directly communicate with the smartphone of a patient. And we have an app, Lifetime app, in Android and iOS store in Germany right now, to store your health data on your smartphone to decide where else you want to store it. So let me show it how it works. The small device rests at the counter of your doctor's office, and it connects to the network or the computer. And on the other hand, Lifetime app, with a user experience, you can now exchange data in both directions. So the user experience, next time you go to a doctor, you will think of, you enter the doctor's office and you just share your data. I founded the company 1.5 years ago, and I'm very lucky to have Matthias on board. He's one of the best in the world. He has shipped digital products. He's my co-founder. I've worked as a doctor and software developer, so I combine two worlds. And if we talk about a startup, customers are the most important thing to have. And that is what a doctor who's using our product says about us. It's the next generation patient service. Another doctor, he has a second practice, and he already, after just 1 day using it, he already ordered another one for his second practice. We have great investors. The city of Hamburg invested in us via their venture capital fund. The state of Germany invested in us via their venture capital fund, Hightech Gründerfonds. And politics picking up on us. Yesterday I met the president, that was great. We got loads of press coverage. I think it's A, good story, B, a product that just is obvious that the world needs it. And that's lifetime, your health in your hands, with a user experience you would expect from everywhere else inside of the medical field. An IoT device to automate data flow and patient flow. Thank you very, very much for your time. Is there time for questions? Yes, is there any question? No questions. Okay, great. Thank you so much.